All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Smackdown review for June 9th, 2023. Outside of Bloodline stuff, same shit every week on SmackDown. Nothing else was good. Everything else sucked besides the Bloodline stuff. No Roman Reigns on the show. And yeah, even without Roman Reigns, the Bloodline stuff was pretty good. Charlotte Flair is back, man. I can't fucking stand her, man. You hear a promo tonight. Uh, Adam Pearce told her, "Oh, you got to get to the back of the line. Back of the line. I am the line," or whatever the fuck she said. Oh my god, she's so fucking annoying. She's like when in high school or whatever, the teacher would scratch the chalkboard with their nails. That's what fuck she sounds like every time she cuts a promo, man. She's fucking annoying. And she gets a new title. It looks like exactly the same thing as Roman Reigns' title. They just fucking the border around the logo, whatever, is white instead of gold. It's the same fucking thing. Why can't they just have a fucking new design for any of these titles, man? Fucking annoying. And what else? We had four Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Didn't really care for any of the matches, those Money in the Bank matches, and I think that was pretty much it for the night SmackDown that they had advertised. Or Charlotte was just random, whatever. But yeah, the other stuff was advertised. And Bloodline stuff, man, this was good with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's pretty much playing divide and conquer with Jay and Jimmy, especially with Jay tonight because it was him and Paul Heyman and and Jey Uso in the two segments together. Yeah, so he's trying to basically force the Usos against each other so they can fight each other like divide and conquer. And try to get in the mind of Jey Uso and make the new tribal chief or whatever. And Jimmy already made the decision, shit. So yeah. So we had for SmackDown tonight. But first, gotta get to some sad news this week. Man, it's been a terrible year for wrestling deaths. Crazy. It's already halfway through the year. We got the death of the Iron Sheik, the legend. There was a documentary on him recently on the biography show on A&E. They're re-showing that tomorrow, so you guys can check that out. It was pretty good documentary. All right, so about maybe a couple minutes, 2, 3 minutes, and I get to the SmackDown review. You guys can see the article. I'm just gonna read it. I don't think it's too long. Always good to pay homage to legends. All right. The Iron Sheik, a former pro wrestler who relished playing a burly, bombastic villain in the 1980s, battled with some of the sport's biggest stars, and later became a popular Twitter personality, died on Wednesday. The WWE said he was 81. The wrestling organization posted an article confirming his death, and a statement about his passing was also posted on his Twitter page, giving details of his life. Neither statement mentioned the cause of death or nor where he died, but the Twitter post said he departed this world peacefully. Yeah, so there was no cause of death, so maybe that'll come out about a week or two or month. We'll see how the death was. The Iron Sheik, whose real name was Hossein or Hossein. I apologize if I get that wrong. Hossein Khosrow Ali Vaziri grew up in a small village in Iran where he embraced wrestling in his youth. During his pro wrestling career, he donned curled boots and used the camel clutch as his finishing move during individual and tag team clashes, in which he played the role of an anti-American heel for the WWF, which later became WWE. The mustachioed, barrel-chested brawler often riled up crowds with his anti-American persona and rhetoric, often alongside tag team partner Nikolai Volkov, who played the part of a Soviet villain. They won the World Tag Team Championship in 1985 at the first WrestleMania, according to the biography posted on WWE's internet page. The Iron Sheik was a successful individual wrestler as well, winning the WWF Championship in 1983 by defeating Bob Backlund before losing it later to Hulk Hogan. He also built a long-running rivalry with Sergeant Slaughter, who played the role of American hero. He later teamed with Sergeant Slaughter as Colonel Mustafa. The Iron Sheik's last appearance in the ring was at WrestleMania 17, the WWE said. The Iron Sheik had an early foundation in competitive Greco-Roman wrestling, competing in the Amateur Athletic Union and becoming a gold medalist in 1971. In a documentary about his life called The Sheik, he said he became attracted to wrestling as a teen and is a grappler in the Iranian army. He says, I was married to the wrestling mat because I was so much in love with the sport, said in the movie or the film. It was the right time to establish my character, my gimmick. The Iron Sheik's influence also extended to the sport's biggest stars, wrestling turned actor Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who used the term jabroni to insult his ring opponents, has credited the Iron Sheik with making it famous in wrestling circles. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, I think The Rock said that in his he did his tribute video to the Iron Sheik. Go check that out on his Instagram. The Rock's Instagram. The TV show Young Rock has also featured the Iron Sheik as a recurring character. The Iron Sheik uses humor and wisdom to build a large Twitter following. He also made appearances on the Howard Stern Show, Eric Andre Show, and others. The WWE biography said. The Twitter statement said the Iron Sheik transcended the realm of sports entertainment and called him a man of immense passion and dedication. With his larger-than-life persona, incredible charisma, and unparalleled in-ring skills, he captivated audiences around the world. He was a trailblazer, breaking barriers and paving the way for a diverse range of wrestlers who followed in his footsteps. In a post on Twitter, professional wrestler Triple H called Iron Sheik a legend, an all-time great performer and WWE Hall of Famer who brought his character to life and transcended our business. All right, so rest in peace to the Iron Sheik. Go check the documentary out. I'm gonna re-show it tomorrow on A&E. All right, let's get to Friday Night SmackDown. Show opens with Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and then as soon as Paul Heyman starts talking, Jey Uso comes out. He gets on the mic. He says, "I love to let things slide, right? Oos, but stab my big brother in the back. It's not something you do, Solo." And I don't. And he says, "I don't know if I could forgive you for that. So say what you need to say to me, OG." And then he tosses the mic to the ground. And then Paul Heyman says, "You got this all wrong. It's not Solo's fault. It's not my fault. It's not Roman's fault. It's not your fault. This is all Jimmy's fault because Jimmy made up his own mind and not just for himself. Jimmy made up his mind for you. I'm opening my heart out to you." And he pushes Solo back. He's like, "Back up, Solo." He says, "I'm not a physical threat. I'm taking a chance right now standing this close. Here's why. When Jimmy kicked the tribal chief at Night of Champions, were you in on that? Did you know about that?" He says, "No, Jimmy pulled the trigger for himself. And for you, that's the way he's always been. He's the older brother. Firstborn." Then he started mocking him here. "Jimmy always resented you. Why? Jimmy is in on something you're not. The tribal chief wants to groom you to be the next tribal chief. That's your future. That's who you're going to be. It was never going to be Jimmy. Jimmy has known it since day one, and he's resented you ever since." They're booing. Oh, yeah, the fans started booing. They're booing because they don't know the truth. And I'm going to prove it to you. I've arranged a match tonight. You bring the gold back to the bloodline, but not tag team gold because there's no tag team known as the Usos anymore. This is what Jimmy caused. You will defeat Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Someday you will become the tribal chief. You're right. I need your answer now. So Paul Heyman hands Jey Uso the mic back, and then Jay says he'll take the U.S. title match, and then Paul Heyman sticks his hand out. Oh no, photo. Yeah, yeah, right here. And then so he delays. He chills back on the ropes there in the photo, and then about 30 seconds, and the crowd started chanting, "No, no!" And then Jay says, "I'll get back to you on that one." And that was kind of funny. It was a pretty good opening segment. Paul Heyman just trying to get in his head and shit, trying to get the Usos to just pretty much kill each other or whatever, destroy each other. All right, we got the first of 4 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Santos Escobar versus Mustafa Ali. Before the match starts, LA Knight comes out. Yeah, he's doing commentary. Santos hits Ali with the Hurricane Rana off the steel steps. This shit looked fucking brutal. And then Santos hit Ali with a suicide dive. Then Mustafa Ali hit Santos with a drop kick in midair. This was insane. He fucking Ali landed on his feet on the outside. They were fighting on the turnbuckle. Ali lands on the outside. He did like a moonsault. He almost hit the fucking cameraman. Uh, what else was? Oh yeah, and then Santos he did like I forgot. He just jumped to try to attack Ali, and then he hit a fucking drop kick. Shit looked insane. And then Ali back the ring, hit a tornado DDT for a 2 count. And then Santos hit Phantom Drivers in the photo there from the second rope for the win. So Santos Escobar is the fourth fourth member in the match on the guy side. So we got right now Santos, was it Ricochet, Nakamura, and LA Knight. So we got 4 guys in it right now. All right, and we got a segment backstage. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Sami says, "Big night for you, Jey. I know you got a big decision tonight. I want to tell you something that I never got to tell you while we were in the bloodline. That was some of the best times of my life. I know it was the best times for you. In a different world, we'd probably still be doing that. On reviews, the Usos, the handshake, the dance. I'd be making you guys laugh even when you try not to. That couldn't happen because of one man, the tribal chief. He says when the tribal chief takes over, bad things happen. That's when the Paul Heyman voice gets in his head. He pushes too far. I did it to keep things together. He tested my loyalty just like he is to you. I hope you win the U.S. title so they can see that the bloodline need you more than you need them. Whatever happens, you know the consequences. If you go down that road, no more Jimmy and Jay, no more Usos. Listen to what's in your heart." So pretty much Sami Zayn just warning him, like I've been down this path too. So just be careful if you pick that road, if you stay with the bloodline. Pretty much just warning him. All right, next up we got man, this segment was fucking terrible. Isla Dawn and Elba Fire, NXT Women's Champions, they come out. Ronda and Shayna come out, and then Shayna's like, "Oh, those titles are the Shayna Baszler commemorative tag titles, NXT titles." He's like, "I'm the reason they made them or some shit." And then they pretty much just challenged them to a fucking unification match, title for title, and then they just fucking brawled. I don't know. I didn't really care about this segment because their the women's tag division just fucking sucks. It's terrible. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. That's gonna be in shit. They had the matches listed for like the next 2-3 weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, probably Ronda guys are gonna win probably. Next up we got the second Money in the Bank qualifying match. Wasn't that much of a match. Meechin hit a suicide dive and a Hurricane Rana, and then Bailey she pulled her hair, Meechin's hair, and tossed her into the turnbuckle and hit the Rose Plant for the win. So Bailey qualifies. Pretty obvious that Bailey was gonna win. And then end of the match, AJ was on commentary. AJ Styles, Scarlett like tossed some, or she blew some red powder. You guys can see in the photo there into AJ's face. And then Karrion Kross is like in the crowd, the barricade area, and he choked his ass out. And then yeah, so that was it for that. So I guess they're continuing this feud with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. Don't really see the point because they just had the match, and then there's no what the fuck's the storyline in this shit? Makes no fucking sense. So yeah, I don't know why they're feuding. Like I don't know. It's just using nowadays wrestling. Nothing makes sense. So yeah, the feud. I guess they're gonna turn this into a long-term feud now. All right, next up we got segment in the back. Adam Pearce asked Bianca not to attack Asuka because you got a rematch. Says tonight, leave it alone. And then Bianca says, You gave me a rematch. I won't get involved. So yeah, so Bianca's not gonna attack Asuka. She's been attacking her every time for like the last 2 3 weeks ever since she lost the title. All right, next up we got the Asuka getting a new title celebration, whatever. And then yeah, so look at the title. Get a better photo of it. Oh yeah, right there. See, it looks the same thing as Roman's title, except the fucking outside part is white. That's the only fucking difference. Makes no fucking sense. All right. And then Charlotte Flair comes out. Adam Pearce says, "I know what you're trying to do here, Charlotte. Get in line." She's like, "I don't wait in line. I am the line," or whatever the fuck. Fuck, irritating. And she challenges Asuka for the title. Asuka said something in Japanese, and then she said she accepts. And then she went to spit the mist in her face. Charlotte dodged it, and then yeah, that was pretty much. And then Charlotte punched. They started attacking each other, and then Charlotte left. Or I don't know. I don't really care about this. All right. Next up, we got Jey Uso and Paul Heyman backstage segment. Paul says, "You got me. You left me hanging. It's a cliffhanger. My whole life is a cliffhanger. Next thing I want you to put in my hand is your passport and your suit measurements. I need your passport because we're gonna fly in the Tribal Chief's private jet, and one day it's gonna be your private jet all the way to Money in the Bank with the bloodline. I need your suit measurements next week on SmackDown. We're gonna have a triple celebration. Number one, the Tribal Chief will be here live next week. Oh boy, Roman returns. We'll do that shit. They have that graphic Roman returns every fucking week. Why is he returning every week to say he's gonna be there? Fucking every week he returns. He says number two, the U.S. champ Jey Uso, and number three, the public acknowledgement that you will be groomed by Roman as the next tribal chief. And he stuck his hand out again, and then Jey says, "I love it, Us." A big celebration. Says, "Yes, count me in. I don't know why you're so happy. If I'm in the bloodline, that means you out the bloodline." So Jay's just fucking messing with him, I guess. Don't know what the fuck's going on. So yeah, Heyman's pretty much he's like promising me all these things, private jet. Oh, I'm gonna get you a suit and all this shit. Celebration next week. Pretty much just playing mind games with him. All right, next up we got the third Money in the Bank qualifying match: Butch versus Corbin. So Baron Corbin been feuding with NXT champion Melo Hayes. He attacked him. They showed some footage. He attacked him a few weeks ago. And then this past week, he beat up his buddy Trick Williams. They were in the front row. And then before this match started, Baron Corbin got on the mic. He was pretty much just talking shit. He's like, "Oh, you should be a fan and don't come across the barricade. Whoop your ass or some shit." I don't know. Don't really care about Baron Corbin. So Butch hits Corbin with a tornado DDT. Corbin hit Butch with a backbreaker, and then Corbin hit him with a clothesline. And then Corbin went for the choke slam. Butch rolled him up for the win. Wasn't really that much of a match. And then after the match, Corbin's all pissed off and shit. And then he punches Trick Williams. And then Carmelo Hayes punches Baron Corbin. And then referee and security got involved. They jump over the Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams jump over the barricade and start punching each other. There's a photo of it. Oh yeah, right there. It was a punch, and then started brawling and shit. Oh, there we go. And then yeah, so that was it for that. So Money in the Bank qualifier for the guys side now. We got Butch, LA Knight, Ricochet, Nakamura, and Santos Escobar. Next week there's gonna be on Raw. It's gonna be a sixth, so another six guys gonna qualify. I thought they would do a second chance like Battle Royal or some shit for all the guys that lost the qualifiers, but they're gonna do Matt Riddle versus Damian Priest. Well, last week, Matt Riddle was listed as in the match, and now he's not in the match. Now he's facing Damian Priest for a qualifying match. So is he gonna win? He's gonna be back in the match, or I don't know what the fuck's going on. That's so confusing. Um, yeah, so that's it for the guy side. The field is rounding out. We'll find out who the 6 guys on Monday. All right, next up we got Io Sky versus Shotzi in the fourth and final Money in the Bank qualifying match for tonight. Shotzi hit a suplex on Io, and then she hit a suicide dive. The ref went to go check on Io Sky, and then Bailey threw Shotzi off the top rope. And then Io Sky hit the moonsault for the win. So yeah, it's just this was pretty obvious. Io Sky was always going to qualify for this, and Bailey. They're pushing him to a breakup between Damage Control and shit. I don't really care about this. And yeah, so we got 5 women in it. In the women's Money in the Bank, Io Sky, who was it? Becky Lynch, the girl that had Trish win. Zoe Stark, Bailey, and fuck, I can't remember the 5th name. I'll do the predictions in a couple of weeks. So yeah, the field should be full by next week. Maybe is there another match on? I think there's a qualifier on Monday. I can't remember. They never announced it. For the 6th qualifying match for the women's side. All right, next up we got the main event: Jey Uso versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Jey hit Theory with a clothesline, then he hit him with a neckbreaker for a 2 count. And then Theory hit Jey with a drop kick for a near fall. Jey Uso super kick Theory into the ref, so down goes the ref outside the ring. Jey hit the splash from the top rope for the pin. Got like about 7 or 8 count from the crowd, and the ref is down. And then Pretty Deadly show up. Jimmy Uso comes out to help Jey fight them off. He hits them, both members of Pretty Deadly, with super kicks, and then Solo attacks Jimmy. He goes for the Samoan spike, and then in the photo here, Jey grabs Solo. Solo's like looking at him with like, "What the fuck you doing? I got this," or whatever. And then Jimmy goes for the super kick on Solo. Solo moves out the way, and he hits Jey instead. Misfire there. And then Jimmy takes out Solo. He tried to check him out, and it was like a botch, and then he just kicked him under the ropes and shit. And then he pretty much just flew outside of the ring onto Solo to take him out. And then so Jey's down. Austin Theory pins him for the win. So Austin Theory retains his U.S. title against Jey Uso. And then at the end, they had Paul Heyman was standing behind Solo, like near the crowd there in the front. And then Jimmy helped Jey up. Jey pushed him off, like, "What the fuck you doing?" Trying to win the U.S. title. And then Jimmy says, "Man, I was just trying to help, oops." And Jey Uso pretty much wasn't having it, and he left the ring. And then I forgot what Heyman said to him. And then yeah, so he didn't stick his hand out for a 3rd time here. And then Jey just walked off. And then this was kind of funny. Paul Heyman was on his, he always has his phone in his hand. And he says, "Call Roman Reigns to Siri," or whatever. And then some guy in the crowd's like, "His phone's not even on." That was kind of funny. And then yeah, so that's pretty much your SmackDown. So they're gonna drag this out. We had no decision tonight before Jey Uso, so they're gonna drag this out for maybe next week when Daddy Roman comes in. Roman Reigns again. Come on, man. It's his father, man. Roman Reigns get an answer out of him. Beat shit out of him again. Yeah. So outside of bloodline stuff, everything else pretty much fucking sucked. Yeah. That was it. Pretty much it for SmackDown. See ya.